Okay, so this is for my first CAS activity reflection, so I don't really know how to start it off, so I'll just speak the questions aloud and then I'll answer them to the best possible extent. So I believe that this is the proper format to take it in. So the first question is, what do you perceive and notice when doing the CAS experience? The CAS experience in question is cross-country running, um, and probably the one thing that I see the most is how no one talks to each other as we run, because we're all concentrating, me included, on running, right? So we know we're all there, and that so we know that everybody is there running next to us, right? But what we look for is more like mental encouragement, right? Because in my experience, even though it's somewhat short, it tells me that most people don't want to be talked to as they run, because not only is it a loss of energy, but they can find it also difficult to concentrate with someone talking to them. So we understand that we all encourage each other mentally, but it doesn't have to be said out loud. So the next question is, how do you feel being involved in this CAS experience? So I feel very included, because the varsity group in itself, specifically varsity, is quite small, so everybody knows each other, we get to know each other better. Everyone encourages everybody else, which is really nice, not just specifically in varsity, but in the whole group itself. And there's a very strong sense of camaraderie, yeah, that's one way to put it. Because since everybody knows each other, we kind of know how to encourage each other and things like that. So what do you think and feel about the experience itself? So I kind of want to know what it's like to challenge myself. Like, I've done it in the past, but challenging myself physically is something I've never really been good at. So I think that long distance running is actually highly underrated. So I thought that showing people that I can run despite my physique, which has gotten better, it would be a good way to prove myself in the moment of, to prove myself. So in the moment of actually running, I hate it. It's just the worst thing possible. But it's actually when I reach the finish line that all the pain and hurt, it doesn't go away, but it's sort of washed out with a sense of accomplishment. So I find this to be a very interesting way of thinking, because usually people, as they do sports, they love it in the moment. Well, whereas me, it's the complete opposite. I absolutely sort of hate running as it's actually happening, but what I strive for is getting that sense of accomplishment when I finish the race. So I just find this very interesting. Very interesting. So what does the CAS experience mean to you? So for me, it's a way to improve my non-academic life in a way that helps it as well. It allows for balance, simply because, it allows for balance simply because I don't, too much academics it's good to have good academic scores and things like that, but having a good balance between academics and sports is I find to be something extremely important, as sports really gets your physique up. It gets you also more energetic in the mornings and things like that. So I think it's a really, it means a lot to me to have like this sort of balance. So what value does the CAS experience have? For me, there's really three main things: challenging myself to be better, team bonding, which is extremely important as we do a lot of that, and also becoming a better me, both mentally and physically, because running is not only a physical challenge, but it's also a mental challenge. It is because when you lactate, your brain tells you to stop, to rest, specifically because your muscles are hurting, they're lactating, yeah. So you want to stop. So the mental challenge there is to keep going and not stop. So next is, what did you learn from this CAS experience, and how might you apply this to your life more generally? So the CAS experience is not over yet, but the two main things I've learned is probably about perseverance and resilience when running. Again, the mental challenges, and it can really be applied to everyday life. For example, when facing difficult tasks, I tend to procrastinate, so I try to apply my mentality in running to keep going until I finish to difficult tasks and things like that. Things I don't really want to have to do, but I tell myself, Adam, do it, finish it now. That way you don't have to worry about it later, and things like that. So what aspects of your learning outcome did you touch on? So it would probably be identify my own strengths and develop areas for growth, and demonstrate that challenges have been undertaken while developing new skills in the process. So an example of this would be progressive learning. So the new skill would be progressive learning as far as breathing better, right? Because breathing is a very important part. And my friend Tahan was telling me about this thing called running theory. It's if you keep your body relaxed enough so that when you run your bottom lip moves up and down, and you breathe in through the nose and out through the nose as well, you will run better, as well as taking longer strides. So, but it's really the breathing aspect that I was focusing on, because usually I was breathing in a lot with my mouth and then exhaling out a lot with my mouth. So it really loud and high expensive energy. So then today, actually, this morning, I tried to apply that theory, and I saw that it actually improved my running somewhat, in quite drastically, actually, because I was able to keep up with more people than originally I was able to. So what might you need to do next time? So what I see this as is what could be improved. The biggest thing would probably be lose more weight or gain more muscle mass, or just be more lean, because it would drastically improve my performance, because I'm kind of lugging around a lot of weight. Basically, the way I've started trying to do this would be to start a diet of chicken, rice, lettuce, and eggs throughout the day. The chicken for the protein, the rice for the carbs, the lettuce for the fibers, and the eggs for, I believe, cholesterol, and just clean calories. And just eggs are a really good snack. So dieting is probably, getting enough calories for me to function, for me to grow since I'm in puberty, but also, enough for me to start to lose weight or to become leaner. So this has been my CAS activity reflection. Thank you very much for listening.